This isn't good, Seahawk fans. This is not good at all. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and Ari Mirov just kind of set the studio on fire. Quarterback Sam Darnold, he's on the injury report. He's listed as questionable with an oblique injury. This coming to us about 30 minutes or so ago, a little bit over. And I'll tell you, it caught me completely off guard. It was something that I was not expecting. It was something that I was not ready for. And I think that a lot of other Seahawk fans were not ready for it to pop up or be something that ended up being a talking point in today's video or in any video going out this week, any article, any preview. And to make matters worse, my initial reaction was just, okay, well, maybe he got a little bit of extra treatment, right? If you go in and you get extra treatment, sometimes you end up on the injury report. But as long as he was at practice and he was fine, good to go, we should be okay, right? Right? Well, offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak kind of gave us some bad news that Drew Lock also got reps with the ones in practice today because of this injury. Drew Lock getting reps with the ones means that Seattle, they have their backup plan ready to go if Darnold isn't able to be out on the field. That means that the injury was important and significant enough that Seattle could not risk having our starting quarterback go out onto the field and be ready to play a practice football situation today. That means that they did not trust Sam Darnold's oblique to be able to withstand whatever a Thursday practice looks like for Seattle, which for most teams, it's a frickin' walkthrough. What the F is happening? How is it possible that Seattle goes from being the number one seed in the NFC on a bye week where they should get healthier and healthier and healthier throughout the week to being a team that now not only has their starting left tackle on the injury report, that has their starting middle linebacker on the injury report, but the most important player on the offensive side of the football, Sam Darnold, your freaking quarterback, on the injury report. And to the people that are telling me, Will, you're overreacting, I think you're underreacting. How is there a world where we aren't having a little bit of a freak out over Sam Darnold ending up on the injury report, especially for an injury to his core that will affect how he throws the football? We're going to talk about, obviously, what's going on with Sam Darnold, as well as dive into a little bit on what's going on with Charles Cross in the video today. But before we get into any of that, come on in and hit that sub button. We are trying to catch up to the 49ers report. They are ahead of us right now. What are you going to get if you subscribe to the channel? You're going to get great coverage on the Seattle Seahawks. I promise you that from a real Seahawks fan. Do not let the 49ers win this sub battle against us this week. All right. Here is Sam Darnold's stats for the season. He has done an excellent job this year of throwing the football down the field to an open JSN. Now, I would make the argument that he can do a better job of not forcing the ball into his other receivers. That's going to lead to a lot of interceptions for Darnold. But when Seattle has played San Francisco, the difference between winning week 1 and losing week 1, and winning in week 18 was Sam Darnold's turnovers, right? He turned the ball over once against the 49ers with a fumble in week 1. He did not turn the football over against the 49ers in week 18, and that led to a victory. Darnold, while yes, there are some things that he clearly needs to improve upon, while yes, there are things that Sam Darnold does that does frustrate me, he is by far and away the only quarterback that I want out on the field for the Seahawks. And when we're talking about his core injury, if you watch college football, you will know that this is the same injury that Quinn Ewers had last year with Texas. And you can draw a direct comparison and see how worse the Texas offense went from when Quinn Ewers had a healthy core to when he had a non-healthy core post his oblique injury. Quinn Ewers was able to push the ball down the field when he was healthy and feeling 100%. He was not able to push the ball down the field for Texas after he hurt his oblique, and it led to them being a short passing game offense. And that clearly hurt what they were doing offensively because teams didn't have to buy into their deep play passing ability. So teams were able to suck up and add more players into the box. Will San Francisco be able to do that against the Seahawks team? Because when you've seen Sam Darnold at his best is when he's pushing the ball down the field. Now, when we look at his backup and the potential of Drew Lock playing, Drew Lock has not had to be used a whole lot this season, and in fact, he's only really played in backup mop-up duty. The last time that he played for Seattle, it was against the New Orleans Saints. For those of you that are saying right now in your head, the Seahawks played the New Orleans Saints, it was all the way in week 3 of this NFL season. Now, Locke has been around the block. He was obviously a starter in Denver for a couple of years, and he actually had a couple of starts in Seattle as well. Remember winning that Monday Night Football game against the Philadelphia Eagles. So Drew Lock is definitely a capable backup. But for me to sit here and say that I feel 100% comfortable with Drew Lock being the starter in this matchup would be completely false. It would be completely false. Hopefully, Seattle will be able to not have to use Drew Lock. And it does sound like Sam Darnold is trying to kind of damp down some of the worried fans and the worried nature of people like myself. But before I dive into those quotes and kind of what he's been saying, I need to ask you, what is your concern level with the Sam Darnold injury going in to the NFC Divisional Round Playoff Matchup against the 49ers? Rank it 1 to 10 right now in the comment section. I am partying at an 8. I'm not going to lie. You're getting an instant reaction from me. And right now, it's a frickin' 8. I don't feel all that comfortable with where Sam Darnold is. Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, as I say that, Darnold should be able and should be ready to go to play on Saturday. At least that's what he said. Now, I am going to be paraphrasing his quotes that he had to the media because they happened right as we started recording this video. But essentially, Darnold said that it was an oblique injury. It's something that made him uncomfortable. He wanted to make sure that he got some extra training eyes on it, got through some extra stretching, and had some extra treatment on it. He said it was something that he didn't want to go out and risk further injuring today. It was something that he felt like he could sit out today and still be at 110% ready to go on Saturday against the 49ers. And I'll tell you, that makes me feel a little bit better. But it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel like he will necessarily be normal Sam Darnold. Right now, we have to hope, we have to pray that he is 110% ready to go. We have to hope that he isn't lying. Because when we look at what's been happening with the Seahawks in that injury report, it gets worse day after day. This is the injury report that we obviously have going into Wednesdays. At the time of this recording, the Thursday practice has not come out yet. But to have Sam Darnold not be on the injury report at all on Wednesday, to be on it on Thursday, it's got to freak you out. Because it certainly freaks me out. And I was coming into this show being ready to tell you about how I was nervous about Charles Cross. So imagine where my heart is beating and how I feel right now with what's going on with Sam Darnold. Now, we have to get into even worse injury news. Or I guess maybe not worse injury news, but let's add another log onto the fire right now. And let's talk about what's happening with Charles Cross. Because he went from someone who was a full participant in practice just on Tuesday to now being a guy who's a limited participant and has actually added in another injury. He went from being on the injury report with a hamstring issue to being added onto the injury report with a freaking knee injury. This is not good, Seahawk fans. This is not good at all. To go into the most important game of your season with, at best, your left tackle banged up and your quarterback, that doesn't make me feel all that confident, and I was pretty damn confident going into today. Lee Vowell had this to say on Charles Cross's injury over on 12th Man Rising. Cross was listed with a hamstring injury, but also related to his knee. No real details are known about the issue, and the Seahawks, as well as many other teams, will simply list anything that could be wrong with a player as a reason they can't play or practice. I'll tell you right now, that still doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. We're at a position where our left tackle went from, hey, he's back, I think he's going to be able to play, to not being able to go. He went from a guy who's now dealing with, hey, it's just a hamstring. It's a lower body injury. He'll be okay. We'll get it figured out. To, well, what does that knee issue end up doing for Cross? Are you worried? Are you concerned about what's going on with Charles Cross's injury designation? Scale it down below in the comment section, 1 to 12. Do you feel confident? Do you feel comfortable that our starting left tackle will be able to play? Because if Sam Darnold is taking a shot, that's not going to be good, especially for a core injury that doesn't get better unless you stay out and rest, which Darnold really can't do on Saturday. I'm officially nervous about Cross's ability to go out and play in this game. I'm officially nervous with where he's at. And I don't feel that much better about who would be potentially replacing him as the backup. I'll tell you right now, I feel like both of the backup options for Seattle aren't really all that good, because when you look at them, yeah, Josh Jones, he's been pretty good as a backup this year for Seattle. Here's the problem. Dude hasn't practiced all week. Amari Kite, I don't really remember the last time that I've seen him out on the field for any meaningful snaps. In fact, I can tell you how many snaps that he's played in just one moment. Because Cross, we need him out on the field. Amari Kite has played in 4 games this year. Guess how many snaps he has in those games, Searle? 4. 4 snaps. He has 1 snap in every game. I can't have that guy be my left tackle against whatever the 49ers are going to throw at him. I understand that the 49ers don't have the great defensive ends that they had when they started the year. Doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter. You can't have Amari Kite go out there and be your starting left tackle. And right now, Jones is in a position where he's not going to be able to go. We have an issue. We have a freaking issue right now in Seattle. Jones hasn't practiced all week. Amari Kite has played in 4 snaps. This group does not look ready to go. This team is in a position where the 2 most important people on the offensive side of the football for them might not be able to play. And if they do play, best case scenario, they aren't going to be at 100%. I'll dive into a little bit more on what could be happening with the Seahawks squad and with the Seahawks offense, but I got to let you know about this insane deal right now going over at chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. It is a sweet shirt that I'll tell you right now will make you the envy of all the Seahawk fans in your life. Just check it out. Emerald City football. You got the green going into the white. Sweet blue right there. Looks like it shows off the muscles just a little bit. It was $35. It's now $16 over at chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Make sure that you go in and check that thing out. chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Man, I cannot wait. I'll tell you right now, it's a sweet shirt. I bet you I'll see a lot of Seahawks fans hanging out with it. All right, so back to Amari Kite and kind of the position that he's in right now. I have no confidence in Kite at all because I don't believe if Seattle has to run him out there that he's going to be able to get the offense going in the ground game. Right now, we're going to get ready to show you what's been happening with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet throughout the season, but I really want to make sure that I dive into how well they've been playing recently for this offense. This ground game the last month or so has been the reason why Seattle's been winning football games. You can see it Week 18, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, they ran roughshod over what was happening on the defensive side of the football in San Francisco. Over in Carolina, Zach Charbonnet ran roughshod over the Panthers. The week before against the Rams, it was Kenneth Walker with the big play explosives. I don't believe that Kite is going to be able to put this team in the position to continue that rushing attack. You think that Robert Saleh isn't licking his lips right now, getting ready to attack this squad? He just flat out is. So somehow, some way, Charles Cross has to be ready to go. Because if he's not, I just don't know how Seattle comes away with the victory. The other option is maybe you shuffle around some of the O-linemen, but I just don't really see it happening. The last little injury bit that I want to touch on real quick before we get out of here, Ernest Jones did miss practice earlier this week with an illness. I still feel pretty confident that he's going to be able to go out and play for the Seahawks. Hey, maybe he's just going to channel his inner Michael Jordan flu game in this one. I think he's going to be okay. I think we're going to see Ernest Jones flying around making plays. I don't worry about the injury issues that we've seen on the defensive side of the football for the Seahawks. I certainly worry about the injury issues and the injury reports that we're seeing come up right now for the Seahawks on the offensive side of the football. Make sure that you follow me over on social media. The minute that the news broke about Sam Darnold, I fired off a tweet. I'd like to tell you that it was really in-depth and it was really informative, but I'll be honest, it was a lot more of what the F is happening. But I'll tell you right now, as more information comes out, there will be more in-depth information and more in-depth and positive thoughts and positive reporting that I will be able to do on Sam Darnold and his injury, and frankly, on whatever happens with the Seahawks in the year of 2026. Go and give me that follow on Twitter as well as Instagram. I got a lot of content coming out there for you at Will Ortner. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video, and I'll catch you guys next time.